Okay, so let's find the height h. Okay, so from this point up to here, we're going to say that this is 20 degrees. And that from this point up to the top, we're going to say that this is 40 degrees. Okay, and that the distance from this point here to here, okay, this segment here, this is 5 feet. Okay, and this segment here is unknown. We don't know the distance here and here. So we want to find the height h. And to do that, we're going to use trigonometry. So perhaps you remember the old SohCahToa, so some old okay, a little mnemonic memory to get this SohCahToa. Okay, we're going to use this. So I think we're going to use the tangent function. Okay, the tangent function is opposite over adjacent, because that's what we have here. So from this angle, okay, remember the longest length of a triangle is the hypotenuse. Okay, so we don't have the hypotenuse, so we can't use the sine or cosine functions. We have the opposite and the adjacent. Here's the adjacent side. Okay, and the opposite side is here, this side h. So we're going to use a tangent function. Okay, so let's start with this first little triangle. Okay, we're going to break it down into two triangles. Let's start with the little one first. Okay, here we have our 40 degrees. So we're going to say tangent of 40 degrees equals, now it's opposite over adjacent, so we have h over x. Okay, that's opposite over adjacent. Okay, now we're solving for h, so let's just do this. Let's kind of switch things around here. Okay, we're going to say that x equals h over tangent of 40 degrees. Okay, you'll see why we're going to do this here in a minute. So here's our first triangle, small triangle. Okay, triangle 1. Okay, here's triangle 2. Okay, that's going to be this larger triangle here. And we're going to say that for triangle 2, tangent of 20 degrees equals, remember once again, it's going to be opposite over adjacent. So here's the opposite, here's the adjacent. Okay, opposite over adjacent. What that means is h over, okay, x plus 5. Okay, remember our whole adjacent side is both this segment and this segment. So we're going to call that x plus 5. Okay, now we're going to kind of switch these across this equal sign. Okay, just doing your algebra. So now we have x plus 5 equals h divided by tangent 20. Okay, see, all I'm doing is moving things around an equal sign. Okay, this is just your transpose and apply, your algebra. Just moving this up and moving this guy down. Okay, they kind of switch places. So here's our two equations that we have. We have this one. We have x equals h over tangent 40. And here we have x plus 5 equals h over tangent 20. Okay, what I'm going to do is kind of go ahead and erase all this stuff. I'm going to move these two equations. I'm going to move them up. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. So if you don't have this, put it on pause and scribble everything down. So what I'm doing now is go ahead and erasing this stuff so I can make room, okay, for my two equations. So here's the first one, or the second equation. Here's the first one. Okay, here's the two equations that we have here. Equation number 1, equation number 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you see here that I've solved for x. Here in equation 1, I have solved for x. Well, here we see an x in equation 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do substitution. Okay, here's x. Okay, x equals this. So I'm just going to take this and plug it in here for x. Okay, I'm just substituting. Here's x, here's an x. So that means I could substitute this guy in. So what that leaves me with is this. I have h over tangent of 40 degrees, okay, plus 5 equals h over tangent of 20 degrees. Okay, see, all I'm doing is substituting. Okay, here's our first equation. I'm just substituting that in. And this is what we get. Okay, so working from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take all this stuff to one side. So now I'm going to have 5 equals h over tangent 20 degrees minus h over tangent 40 degrees. Remember, why am I subtracting? Well, here I have this on this left-hand side of the equation. Okay, I want to move it over to here to the right-hand side of the equation. Okay, how do I do that? Transpose and apply. Whatever is being done, I do the opposite to move it across an equal sign. I do whatever the opposite function is to move it across the equal sign. In this example here, this is being added here into the front. It's this plus 5. Okay, so to get rid of this from the left side, to move it over here, I have to subtract it. Okay, because here it's being added on. Right? There's always an invisible addition sign in front of everything. Unless you see a negative, unless you specifically see a negative sign, okay, in front of something, in front of a term, then you're going to always assume that's positive. So to move it over, okay, I have to subtract it from both sides. Subtracting it from both sides cancels out on the left side and subtracts over here. So this is what we got. This 5 equals h over tangent 20 degrees minus h over tangent of 40 degrees. Okay, now all we need to do is solve for h. Okay, here it is, here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of erase some of this stuff up here. Okay, if you don't have it, go ahead and just rewind a little bit. I'm going to move this up. Okay, so this is where we're at. We want to solve for h here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, the opposite of distribution is factor. I'm going to factor this h out of this right-hand side. And what that looks like is this. I have 5 equals h times 1 over tangent of 20 degrees minus 1 over tangent of 40 degrees. Okay, from this step to this step. See, basically, if I distribute this h in, then it would look like this. So when I factor it out, it kind of goes out front here, and what's left here is a 1. Okay, I'm simply factoring this h out. Here it is, factored out. Okay, I just took it from here and here. What's left with is a 1. So now what you're going to basically do at this point is get out a calculator to find this 1 divided by tangent of 20 and 1 divided by tangent of 40. Okay, and get in the calculator, so that's going to be, we're going to say that 5 equals h times, now 1 divided by tangent of 20. At this point, you're going to need a calculator. Okay, just 1 over tangent 20 degrees. So 1 divided by tangent of 20 degrees. I'm going to say that equals 2.7474. Okay, and 1 divided by tangent of 40 degrees. Okay, 1 divided by tangent of 40 degrees. I'm going to say that equals 1.1917. Okay, so I have 2.7474 minus 1.1917. Okay. So now we have 5 equals h times, okay, 2.7474 minus 1.1917. We have 2.7474 minus 1.1917. Okay, that equals 1.5557. Remember, this is approximate. Okay, this is the approximate values. Remember, these decimals, sometimes they just keep on going. Okay, so it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, 4 places, you're getting really close. Okay, so remember, this isn't going to be exactly exact. So 5 divided by 1.55557. So now we have h equals 5 divided by 1.5557. Okay, and that equals 3.2139. And that's our height. Okay, we just solved for h. We got it. We have 3.2139. And of course, that's going to be in feet. Okay, we started with feet. We end in feet. So here's our answer. I hope you guys like this. This is a little bit different from what I've been teaching, the arithmetic. You're kind of have to use a calculator, do little trigonometry functions on your calculator. And you have to know your algebra really well. If you could understand how to do that, how to move stuff around an equal sign. Okay, your transpose and apply. If you know how to transpose and apply across an equal sign, we did that earlier as well. That's going to help you out, make things a lot easier. Just realize that these are kind of this whole thing here is a term. Okay, and this minus sign is kind of attached to it. Okay, this minus sign is going to be attached to the term. Also, over here, you don't see it. There's an invisible plus. If you don't see a minus, sign in front of something, you're going to always assume that it's positive. Okay, so there's going to be an invisible. So whenever you're moving stuff across this equal sign, okay, you have to do the opposite. That's your transpose and apply. Okay, this is one of my favorite things that comes from Vedic math is transpose and apply. It's just basically learning how to move things across an equal sign. Makes it a lot easier. Once you know how to do that, your algebra becomes a lot easier. You're able to tackle these trigonometry problems a lot easier. Okay, if you enjoy this type of videos, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below. I appreciate your time. Thank you.